Today, we stand at a unique crossroads in human history where the very definition of security is being rewritten before our eyes. For decades, the traditional promise was simple: find a stable path, climb a linear ladder, and your financial future would take care of itself. But that world has dissolved, replaced by a landscape that demands something much more profound than simple hard work. It demands a marriage between two vital forces: financial wellness and career agility. When we talk about financial wellness, we are not just talking about the balance in a bank account or the performance of a portfolio. We are talking about the psychological freedom that comes from being the master of your resources rather than their servant. It is the quiet confidence that allows you to sleep at night, knowing that you have built a fortress not of brick and mortar, but of disciplined choices and strategic foresight. This wellness is the foundation upon which all other ambitions are built. Without it, you are a passenger in your own life, driven by the winds of necessity rather than the compass of your dreams. To achieve this, one must first confront the reality that money is not an end, but a tool of liberation. It requires a shift in mindset from consumption to accumulation, and from accumulation to intentionality. Every dollar you save is not just a unit of currency, it is a unit of freedom. It is a brick in the wall that protects you from the unexpected and a bridge that carries you toward the life you envision. But financial wellness is only half of the equation in this modern era. The other half is career agility, the ability to pivot, to relearn, and to reinvent oneself in a market that is shifting at the speed of light. In the past, a career was a marathon run on a single track. Today, it is more like a cross-country trek across ever-changing terrain. The skills that made you valuable yesterday may be obsolete tomorrow, and the industries that seem unshakable today may vanish by the end of the decade. Career agility is the refusal to be defined by a single job title or a narrow set of responsibilities. It is the commitment to being a lifelong learner, a seeker of new perspectives, and a master of adaptability. It is the understanding that your greatest asset is not what you know, but how fast you can learn something new. When you combine these two forces, financial health and professional flexibility, you create an unstoppable synergy. Financial wellness provides the runway that allows you to take risks. It gives you the quit money to walk away from a toxic environment, or the seed money to start a venture of your own. Conversely, career agility ensures that your income-generating potential remains high, protecting your financial wellness from the shocks of economic downturns or industry disruptions. Together, they form a safety net that is not provided by an employer or a government, but is woven by your own hands through discipline and vision. The journey toward this state of empowerment begins with a radical acceptance of personal responsibility. We live in a world that often encourages us to look outward for blame, to the economy, to the government, or to the corporate structure. But the truth is that while we cannot control the wind, we can always adjust our sails. Financial wellness begins the moment you decide that your future self is worth more than your present impulses. It is the realization that true wealth is not about looking rich, but about being free. This requires a level of discipline that is increasingly rare in a culture of instant gratification. It means living below your means today so that you can live above your expectations tomorrow. It means understanding the power of compound interest, both in your finances and in your habits. Just as a small investment grows over decades into a mountain of wealth, the small choices you make every day, to read a book instead of scrolling mindlessly, to network with a mentor instead of staying in your comfort zone, to save a portion of your paycheck instead of spending it all, compound into a life of extraordinary resilience. We must treat our careers like a business where we are the CEO. A successful company doesn't just rely on one product. It innovates, it researches, and it stays ahead of the competition. You must do the same for yourself. Are you investing in your own research and development? Are you keeping your skills sharp, or are they becoming dull with complacency? The moment you stop growing is the moment you become vulnerable. Career agility is about staying curious. It's about looking at the horizon and asking, what is coming next, and how can I be ready for it? It's about building a diverse network of connections that span different industries and disciplines, because you never know where the next great opportunity will come from. This proactive stance transforms fear of the future into excitement for the future. Instead of dreading change, you begin to welcome it as a chance to prove your worth and expand your horizons. As we move deeper into this exploration, we must acknowledge the psychological barriers that keep so many people trapped in a cycle of financial stress and professional stagnation. Fear is the primary thief of progress. Fear of loss, fear of failure, and even fear of the unknown often keep us paralyzed in roles that no longer serve us or in financial habits that drain our potential. But true security is not the absence of risk, it is the mastery of it. To be financially well and career agile is to be antifragile, a term used to describe things that actually get stronger when they are stressed. When you have a solid financial cushion, a sudden layoff isn't a catastrophe, it's an opportunity to take a sabbatical, to upskill, or to pivot into a more fulfilling field. When you have a diverse skill set, an industry shift isn't a threat. It's a door opening to a new market where your unique combination of talents is in high demand. This is the ultimate goal. To reach a point where you are no longer reacting to the world, but actively shaping it. You must cultivate a mindset of abundance, believing that there is always a way to improve your situation if you are willing to do the work. This doesn't mean it will be easy. It will require sacrifices. It will require saying no to things that feel good in the moment for the sake of things that will matter in a decade. It will require the humility to be a beginner again and again as you learn new technologies or methodologies. But the reward is a life lived on your own terms. It is the ability to look at your family and know they are secure. It is the ability to look at your work and know it has meaning. It is the peace of mind that comes from knowing that no matter what happens in the global economy, you have the inner and outer resources to thrive. So, I challenge you today to take the first step. Audit your finances with brutal honesty. Audit your skills with an eye toward the future. Build your fortress. Sharpen your tools. The world is changing fast, but for those who are prepared, for those who are agile, and for those who are financially sound, the future is not a threat, it is a promise. To truly understand the depth of this journey, we must recognize that career agility is not just a professional strategy, it is a psychological transformation. It requires us to abandon the ego that tethers us to our past successes and instead embrace the identity of a perpetual student. In the modern economy, your value is a moving target. If you remain stationary, you become a relic. To be agile is to be liquid, flowing into the gaps where demand is high and supply is low. This means looking at your career as a collection of transferable competencies rather than a specific role. You are not just an accountant, you are a master of systems and fiscal integrity. You are not just a teacher, you are a communicator and a strategist of human potential. When you break your professional identity down into these fundamental elements, you realize that you can move across industries with a fluidity that others lack. This fluidity is the ultimate insurance policy. While others are waiting for their specific industry to recover, the agile individual has already translated their skills into a new language and a new market. This process of translation requires a relentless commitment to self-education. We live in an era where the sum of human knowledge is available at our fingertips, yet so few take the time to truly harvest it. To be career agile, you must dedicate time every single day to the cultivation of your mind. Whether it is understanding the implications of artificial intelligence, mastering a new software, or refining your emotional intelligence, every hour spent learning is an investment that pays dividends for a lifetime. However, the courage to pivot is often directly linked to the strength of your financial foundation. It is incredibly difficult to be agile when you are living paycheck to paycheck. When you are drowning in debt or burdened by lifestyle inflation, you are effectively a prisoner of your current circumstances. You cannot afford to take a lower-paying role in a burgeoning industry that offers more long-term potential because your monthly bills won't allow it. You cannot afford to take 3 months off to attend an intensive coding boot camp or a leadership seminar because you have no margin for error. This is why financial wellness is the silent engine of career growth. It provides the risk capital for your life. True wellness means having an emergency fund that covers 6 to 12 months of expenses, but it goes further than that. It means having a clear understanding of your number, the amount of money you actually need to sustain your joy, not just your status. Many people find themselves on a treadmill of consumption, working harder to buy things they don't have time to use, to impress people they don't particularly like. Breaking this cycle is the first step toward true agility. When you simplify your financial life, you amplify your professional options. You create a buffer that allows you to say no to mediocre opportunities so that you can say yes to the extraordinary ones. This is the power of a lean, well-managed financial life. It turns the unthinkable into the attainable. As we dive deeper into the mechanics of this lifestyle, we must talk about the importance of diversifying your income streams. Just as a wise investor never puts all their money into a single stock, a wise professional should never rely solely on a single source of income if they can help it. This is where career agility meets financial wellness in its most practical form. The side hustle, or the secondary project, is more than just extra cash. It is a laboratory for new skills. It is a place where you can test your marketability in a different field without risking your primary livelihood. Whether it's consulting, freelancing, investing in real estate, or creating digital content, having multiple channels of revenue reduces the catastrophic risk of a single job loss. It changes your posture in the workplace. When you know that you have other sources of income, you act with more integrity and less fear. You are more likely to speak up when you see a problem, more likely to negotiate for what you are worth, and less likely to tolerate a toxic culture. This independence is the hallmark of a person who has achieved both financial wellness and career agility. You are no longer begging for a seat at the table. You are bringing your own chair, or better yet, building your own table. This path requires a fundamental shift in how we perceive time. Most people trade their time for money, but the financially well and career agile trade their money to buy back their time. They understand that time is the only truly finite resource we have. Every financial decision should be viewed through the lens of, does this purchase give me more time or take it away? Does this car loan force me to stay in a soul-crushing job for 5 more years? Does this investment allow me to retire 5 years earlier? When you begin to value your time above all else, your career choices become much clearer. You stop chasing titles and start chasing autonomy. You stop seeking the approval of the crowd and start seeking the approval of your own conscience. This autonomy is the highest form of wealth. It is the ability to spend your days doing work that matters with people you respect in a way that aligns with your values. But to get there, you must be willing to endure the discomfort of the middle ground. There is a period in every journey toward wellness and agility where you are doing the hard work but haven't yet seen the results. You are saving money while your friends are on vacation. You are studying late at night while others are sleeping. This is the testing ground. It is where your character is forged. It is where you prove to yourself that you are serious about your freedom. Let us also consider the social aspect of this transformation. We are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. If your inner circle consists of people who are financially reckless and professionally stagnant, it will be nearly impossible for you to rise above that environment. Career agility thrives in a community of ambition and curiosity. You need to surround yourself with people who challenge your assumptions, who push you to think bigger, and who model the financial discipline you seek to emulate. This doesn't mean discarding old friends, but it does mean being intentional about your influences. Seek out mentors who are 5 or 10 years ahead of you. Join professional organizations that are on the cutting edge of your industry. Attend seminars that have nothing to do with your current job, but everything to do with your future interests. By expanding your network, you expand your surface area for luck. Most of the greatest career pivots and financial opportunities don't come through formal channels. They come through a casual conversation with someone who saw potential in you that you hadn't yet seen in yourself. This is the beauty of a life built on agility. It is inherently social and collaborative. It recognizes that we are all interconnected, and that our individual success is often a byproduct of the value we provide to others. When you focus on becoming more valuable, both in your skills and in your financial stability, you naturally attract more opportunities. The world has a way of making room for people who know where they are going. In this final stretch of our journey together, we must address the ultimate convergence of these 2 disciplines, the creation of a legacy that transcends our individual lives. We often think of financial wellness as a personal achievement and career agility as a professional tactic, but when combined, they represent a philosophy of stewardship. You are the steward of your talents and the steward of your resources. To waste either is to fail not only yourself, but the community that could benefit from your peak performance. As you gain mastery over your finances and flexibility in your career, you begin to realize that the highest use of this freedom is service. A person who is financially secure and professionally capable is a person who can afford to be generous. They can mentor the next generation without fear of competition. They can donate their time to causes that lack funding. They can take risks on innovative ideas that might not have an immediate payout, but could change the world. This is the true meaning of wellness. It is a state of being so whole and so secure that your primary focus shifts from "how can I get more?" to "how much can I give?" This transition from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset is the final frontier of your development. It is the point where you stop running away from poverty or irrelevance and start running toward a vision of a better future for everyone. To sustain this level of excellence over a lifetime, you must cultivate the habit of the vanguard. In military terms, the vanguard is the leading part of an advancing group. To be the vanguard of your own life, you must always be looking ahead, scanning the horizon for both threats and opportunities. This requires a level of mental clarity that can only be achieved when you are not bogged down by the chaos of financial mismanagement or the stagnation of a dead-end job. Mental health is a critical yet often overlooked component of financial wellness and career agility. The stress of debt and the anxiety of professional insecurity are silent killers of creativity. When your brain is in survival mode, it cannot engage in the high-level strategic thinking required for agility. Therefore, taking care of your physical and emotional well-being is not a luxury. It is a prerequisite for your success. You must treat your mind as your most precious piece of equipment. Feed it high-quality information, give it the rest it needs to recover, and protect it from the toxic noise of a world that profits from your fear and distraction. A calm mind is an agile mind. A focused mind is a wealthy mind. When you approach your career and your bank account from a place of peace rather than panic, you make better decisions. You buy yourself the time to think, and in the modern economy, the ability to think deeply is perhaps the most valuable and rarest skill of all. As we look toward the future, we must realize that the new normal is one of constant flux. The era of getting a degree and being done is over. We are now in the era of the stackable life. You stack skills on top of skills. You stack assets on top of assets. You might start as a technician, add a layer of management expertise, stack on some data science, and eventually pivot into consulting or entrepreneurship. This stacking is what creates a unique value proposition that is impossible for an algorithm to replicate. Artificial intelligence may be able to perform specific tasks, but it cannot replicate the nuanced, multidisciplinary perspective of a human who has navigated multiple career pivots and managed their resources with wisdom. Your humanity, your empathy, your ethics, and your ability to connect disparate ideas is your ultimate competitive advantage. Career agility is about leaning into these human qualities while using technology as a lever to amplify your impact. Similarly, financial wellness in the future will require more than just saving. It will require an understanding of new asset classes, global economic shifts, and the changing nature of value itself. Those who remain curious and open-minded will find themselves in a position of strength, while those who cling to the old ways will find themselves increasingly marginalized. I want you to imagine yourself 5, 10, and 20 years from now. If you choose the path of least resistance, the path of mindless spending and professional complacency, where will you be? You will likely be at the mercy of a world that does not care about your well-being. But if you choose the path we have discussed today, the path of intentional financial wellness and radical career agility, the picture is entirely different. You see a person who is calm in the face of a crisis. You see someone who has the respect of their peers because they never stop growing. You see someone who can look their children in the eye and show them what it means to be truly free. This path is not reserved for the lucky or the born wealthy. It is available to anyone with the grit to discipline their desires and the courage to reinvent their skills. It starts with a single decision. It starts with a no to a frivolous purchase and a yes to a difficult book. It starts with a conversation with a mentor or a deep dive into your monthly budget. These small, seemingly insignificant actions are the seeds of a magnificent life. In closing, remember that you are the architect of your own security. Do not wait for a company to provide you with a pension or a government to provide you with a safety net. Build your own. Weave it with the threads of your intelligence, your discipline, and your adaptability. The world may be unpredictable, and the future may be uncertain, but your response to it does not have to be. You have within you the capacity to learn anything, to survive anything, and to thrive in spite of everything. Career agility is your sword, and financial wellness is your shield. With these in hand, you can march into the future, not with trepidation, but with the roar of a person who knows they are ready for whatever comes. You are not a victim of the economy. You are a participant in it. You are not a cog in a machine. You are the engineer of your destiny. Stand tall, keep learning, stay disciplined, and never, ever settle for a life that is smaller than the one you are capable of living. The journey toward financial wellness and career agility is long and demanding, but the destination is nothing less than the total ownership of your life. Go forth and claim it.